Hey, welcome to Settled on the Field. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How you doing?
Liz, Jebber, what's up, man?
Man, doing great. Excited to be with you guys again. We're just keep rocking and rolling. Rocking.
You guys seem like you're sorry for jumping on there. You were worn out from that, NBA All Star Game weekend or something. Like it was the greatest spectacle on ice.
Hey, I had a good time downtown. I thought Indy did a really good job of dressing up the city. There was all kinds of fun, free events. There was music everywhere. I always tell people, I think there should just be music downtown at all times. Maybe not at 5 a.m.
Downtown, that's where the
But
deals are.
but but it puts people in a good mood. You can't do a drive-by when you're listening to downtown.
Yeah, it's got to be
Puts people in a better mood.
some nice
And
jingles.
people were dancing. It was a good time down there. But
Man, they gotta fix the defense. I don't even want to talk about it too much.
we've heard it. It's been beaten to death. We all know. I will say this. I kind of felt bad for Adam Silver. He was on Pat McAfee's show. He was on the Pat McAfee show talking about how they've been working on this. It's going to be a better game. It's going to be more competitive. And then if you saw him hand out the trophies, I think he was embarrassed. He was like, well, you scored the most points. It was like, I felt bad for him because it was almost like they were like saying, screw you.
We don't want to listen to you.
Did they give out a defensive player of the game for the All-Star game?
They did not. They gave out MVP.
They couldn't possibly have.
I don't know who they would have chosen for that, of course. MVP, and then I don't know. I think that was
I did happen to see Dr. J there. That's why I got his New York Nets on, representing the old school little ABA.
That's a nice little sweatshirt there.
Yeah, thank you. And this reminds me of some throwback action. The NBA did announce that they're going to put up a statue of Oscar Robertson at his high school, which is Crispus Attucks here in Indianapolis. They showed what it's going to look like, but it's not up yet. It's pretty exciting. I think you could do you could do a whole show on Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, they had a lot of homage to him downtown. I thought they had a bunch of basketballs that were painted, and they had one that had a bunch of high school players from Larry Bird, Oscar Robertson. They had Katie Douglas, Perry Meridian.
Uh-oh.
She was on the basketball with Oscar Robertson. I'm like, all right, Perry Meridian representing. So that was pretty cool.
So he's representing his school. Crispus Attucks is doing pretty well in boys and girls basketball here in the state of Indiana. And if you haven't been paying attention, you're overwhelmed by the NBA All-Star Game. The Indiana boys high school basketball tournament is about to kick off with sectionals next week.
And we're going to update you on that. But first, we're going to give you the update because the girls the girls state tournament starts this weekend. So Jeb, fill us in.
All right, the ladies, we're down to the final 8 teams in the whole state of Indiana, 4 classes this weekend. Starts out on Saturday morning, so they have 2 sessions. The 1A state championships played first, 10:30 in the morning. Lanesville's 28-1, and usually with your 1A schools, they play a lot of tougher opponents because they're the smaller schools. So 28-1 is pretty impressive. They are the defending champ. And they're playing Marquette Catholics, who's 24-4 out of Michigan City area.
Wow, Lanesville. I've heard. I keep hearing that name pop up, so they must be pretty good.
Yep. So we talked about them last week. They're led by Hadley Crozier, but they have 4 girls that average 9+ points. So that's like we talked last couple pods ago, before the semi-state, and the girls were, the teams that have multiple girls are the ones to beat.
Right. Oh, and Marquette is led by Lanaya Davis, who scores 20+ per game. But does she have the teammates that help her out throughout, like Lanesville does? So
yeah,
I think I'm calling Lanesville in this game. I'm going to go Lanesville.
Back to back.
Man, let me just tell you, after my wrestling picks, I'm not making any picks in basketball.
Hey, wrestling is a hard one. There's a lot of guys to figure out. And
the second morning game, the 2A state championship, is Brownstown Central's 21-8 and Fort Wayne Bishop Lures 19-6. So again, they got some losses, but they played some higher level opponents through the course of the year. Lures, they had Addie Shank and Annika Davis, both averaging 16 points a game. We talked about them before.
Man, it's a nice combo.
Yeah. Could be a really good matchup between those two teams. Brownstown's won 7 of their last 8, so obviously you got to win some games to get to the state championship, but they came into it hot and kept that rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling.
Then they're going to clear out the field house and clean everything up.
Really?
Yeah.
Then they have a night set. So the 3A state championship is going to start at 6 p.m. Gibson Southern's 25-4 and Norwell's 23-4.
Don't they have another combo that are averaging like 15, 16 a game at Gibson?
Yeah, Gabby Spinks and Chloe Graham both averaging around 16 points. So a dynamic duo.
That's amazing. Because I will say, some of these girls' games, they're pretty low scoring games sometimes. So to have 2 girls on the team that are both averaging 16, that's pretty amazing.
Also, Norwell, they're just always a powerhouse. They're usually a really well-rounded team. So you got to expect them to be there for the state championship year in and year out. Then we get to the big girls, the Class 4A state championship. 8:15 is the approximate tip time. Find 5 losses out of these 2 teams. Lawrence Central, they've been number 1 pretty much most of the year, 29-1. And then Lake Central, a little bit of a surprise. Lake Central's 26-4. And they knocked off Noblesville up in LaPorte last weekend to punch their ticket. They also beat Washington along the way.
Yeah, they're definitely coming along. If you can knock off Washington and Noblesville, you can go all the way for sure.
Yeah.
Lawrence Central, they're again Jayla Lampley. She's dropping 18 a game. And Anya McKenzie, is that how you think to say it? Anya? Yep. I felt it wrong. I'm sure you deserve better than that, young lady. You're dropping 11 points a game and getting 6 boards. So I am sure during the game we're going to hear your name pronounced correctly and well deserved. So super excited to see what Lawrence Central's duo can do, and then Lake Central can bring the heat. So. Going to be exciting time down in Indianapolis. Probably a little more defense played out of these girls than we saw in the All-Star game. So
definitely.
But that's the Indiana 2024 girls state basketball preview.
All right, looking forward to some really good games this weekend, and good luck to all of you. So we heard about the sectional drawing, and I'm wondering, so the boys sectional, they do a draw, they do lotto balls, right? It's like a lotto ball drawing.
Right.
Is that how they get the bye as well? Same, you draw the bye? So it's not a record or anything like that. You just get luck at the draw, basically.
Correct.
Wow. Okay, so some of these guys got pretty lucky.
for instance, in 4A, the number 1 and 2 teams in the whole state did not get a bye, and the number 3 team did, and so did someone who's not in the top 5. So it's just look at the draw.
Look at the draw. Well, you got to keep winning to keep it going. So we're going to give you a sampling of what's going on in the sectionals, because there are a lot of sectionals in Indiana. So we're going to give you a little bit of a preview, and we'll keep you posted as the teams keep moving on. So in sectional 1A, one of the sectionals, Lutheran won last year in 2023. They are hosting sectional 59, They're actually hosting it at Lutheran, and they take on Victory College Prep in the first round. Tindley has the bye in sectional 59. Over at sectional 52, Oldenburg drew the bye. Morristown plays Southwest Shelbyville. Jacksendel. I've not heard of this school. Jaccendel. Jacksendel plays Waldron. And South Decatur takes on Edinburgh. So that's down a little bit south of Indianapolis. If you're not familiar, it's about south of Greenwood. It's kind of that corridor that's right there in the central part of Indiana, but it's not quite to Bloomington and just a little bit south of Greenwood, that area. So we'll look forward to some really good games, and we'll see if Lutheran can repeat this time around. Lagodi, the favorite for 1A to win the whole thing is Bar Reeves. They actually won in 2021. They have a great chance up against Washington Catholic. They are the favorite because they are led by senior Donnie Miller. He averages 11.6 per game. And junior Seth Wagler also averaging 11.4 points per game. So in that 1A sectional, Bar Reeves is the favorite, but we're going to see how Lutheran pulls out in 1A as well.
Another double hitter, 11 and 11.
Got to be deep.
All right, nice. So for 2A, I've got the defending champions, Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian, ranked number 7. They've got the bye. Okay, so that's not 1 through 6. They're number 7 in their sectional. They're going to bye. They're going to play the winner of Adams Central and South Adams. This team, they've won, not only are they defending champ, they've won 6 sectional championships in a row. So, with the team that's playing that well, athletic director's got the program running like that, they're going to travel well. Their crowd's going to be representing for sure up there. And then in the sectional that I think most people are going to have their eye on is going to be sectional 39. That's where Tipton's going to be. Tipton's 21-1. They're going to host Elwood Community. And they've got two guards on the team. I mean, if you think about March Madness for the NCAA, you always think of guard play. And we get down to this tournament, you need a solid 1 or 2 guards, and they've got 2 really good ones. Nolan Swan is averaging 20 with about 4.5 assists. And another guard, they got him listed. I think I saw them both at point guard, but Grady Carpenter, 18 points and 8 assists. So between the two of them, even if one happens to be slumping, you've got a pretty solid hand on the ball there. That's what I'm looking forward to for 2A.
Another nod to multiple players, making you deeper and giving you a better.
Exactly.
Well, I'll give you a little breakdown of the 3A boys state tournament. Scottsburg looking tough out of the South. They've been there all year, along with Heritage Hill, Gurin Catholic, and Evansville Memorial. All those guys are capable of making a run. In the North, you have to look at the South Bend sectional. South Bend, Washington, Mishawaka, Marion, and St. Joe. They'll all be up there beating up on each other. They also have South Bend Clay in that sectional. So this is the final year of South Bend Clay's existence. Tyrese Jones, he's averaging 20.9 points a game.
Wow.
For Barnbrooks Colonials. So we'll talk a little more about Clay in their last season.
The end of an era at Clay. Some state champions under their belt, and they're going to try to make a run, right?
Hey, if you didn't see, they won their last game pretty handedly. They started off that game with like 16 points in a row. They beat New Prairie. Doug Barnbrook, coach from Adams High School, who's representing. They had a lot of the 1994 state champion players in the building. Their former coach, Coach Tom DeBates, was there. Couple names I'll throw out there: Jerron Cornell, Lee Nalon.
Nice.
Strong down low in the post. Strong game. I just give a shout out here. It's Coach Tom Debates, he wore a shirt with representing Chad Hudnall, so R.I.P. to Chad Hudnall. But they beat New Prairie 70-38, and I saw a line in the article that even said all three of the referees were Clay High School graduates. So it was a way to shut it down with a big win heading into the sectionals.
Oh, nice.
That's got me emotional.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
American Legion baseball with Chad Hudnall the summer after they won the state championship, and good stories with him down the Valparaiso post. And they did hit him. They purposely hit him like 6 times, and
that's nuts.
He just kept pointing at his ring finger, walking for this.
Yeah, hit that clutch 3. I played summer ball at the Bain Park Summer League with Lee Nalon. He dropped 70 in a one game. I think I had 25 assists. It was too easy. Score, Lee. Just keep scoring.
You know who can ball is Doug Barnbrook. Coach Barnbrook.
Oh, yeah.
He has a team he played in some league, I don't know, and it used to post it in the newspaper, and he would have 40 and 38. And hey, Doug's the name for next year. With Clay closing, somebody's going to be, that's one.
They're going to scoop him up. They're going to be lucky right there.
Out on the market, man. So be really interested to see what he does. Been there 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer, 4 or 5 years.
That sounds about right.
So yeah. Also, talking 3A hoops. You can never forget about Dwanger and Leo down there in the Fort Wayne area. Joe Strap-Louie, just another name to mention from John Glenn. He's a great little high school baseball pitcher. He's averaging 15 for the Falcons. And so, your 3A defending champion, Northwoods, they won an overtime thriller last year against Gurin Catholic in the 3A. So, see what they can do as far as making a run. Let's talk a little bit of 4A. 4A section 8, is it? They're the ones with number 1, 2, and
yeah. Noblesville sectional is just ridiculous. Sectional number 8.
Yeah.
I'll just read. You got Hamilton Southeastern's got a bye. They'll play the winner of Carmel and Fishers. Fishers is number 1. And then Westfield, who's number 3, has a bye, and they play the winner of Zionsville, Noblesville. Noblesville is number 2. So you're going to have a 2 or a 3, and then potentially up against a 1 in the next round. I know they like to complain that they're all in the same sectional, but you got to face that talent at some point. So you might as well show up strong in the first round.
Yeah, with your fresh legs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure. 4A Fishers is the favorite to take the title in 4A. They're led by uncommitted 6'6" power forward Keenan Garner. He has a couple offers. I know he's got an offer from UIndy. I think he's holding out to see and show him what he can do in this state championship, pull in a few more offers. It's nice to see, again, bringing back Crispus Attucks being up there. They're up in the top 10. Doing Oscar proud. They've got Desmond Briscoe leads the Tigers. He has 11 offers, including from Ball State, Butler, Valpo, and Cincinnati. So he'll be making his decision here probably sometime in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And again, I think these guys that haven't committed, they're excited to show off their skills during the tournament.
Oh, for sure.
Should be some really good action.
Let's see if he follows Oscar's footsteps to go to Cincinnati. That'd be pretty nice.
That would be pretty nice.
Yeah, Crispus Attucks plays Arsenal Tech in that first round, so they've been sticking around pretty good. That's at Lawrence North sectional 10. One school we didn't mention, and it's going to be Kokomo. They're 21-3. They've got a Kansas commit, Flory Badunga. If you don't think that he can't put him on his back and bring him to the finals, I don't know. You haven't been paying attention, but he had a triple double the other week, and he had one of them was blocks, points, rebounds, and blocks. And they said that out of the 10 blocks that he had, at least 3 to 5 of them could have been steals because he came down with the ball. He blocked the shot, but came down with it. So he didn't just send it in the stands.
Who's Kokomo playing?
Oh, I
in
gotta
that
look that
first
up.
round. Sorry.
Was
Sorry
also,
about that.
I'll get back to you here in one moment.
was the runner-up last year. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So they're rolling. They've got a little. They're ready to knock somebody out from last year.
up here in the north, the Mishawaka sectional, Riley is looking like the favorite there. They did secure the bye. They just retired the jersey of Blake Wesley, who played for the Irish, and also is right now in the NBA with the Spurs. So at the Adams Riley game last weekend, a nice little tribute to number 0.
Number
Adams,
0.
Adams has got a little shot there. Is they're coached by Chad Johnson, and he's got his son KJ, who hasn't played for a couple years now, leading the offense. KJ Johnson went down with an ankle injury, but gave the other guys an opportunity to work without his leadership, and now he's back, and so we'll see if Adams can make a little run. Also, Concord, Elkhart sectional, they're like 16-5, maybe something like that. So Concord's another team to keep an eye out on. They have to get through Warsaw and Penn and Northridge, so a lot of good basketball action coming up.
I've got a random question for you. Who do you think? This comes up, this question probably this time of year every year. Who's got the best basketball stadium in the state? What do you guys think?
Oh, that's the Frankfurters. That's
the Frankfurt hot dogs. Is that right? I haven't been to theirs, but
I haven't been to it either. It's a dome. It was featured in the movie with Shaq. I mean, I think it looks pretty hype just because it's a dome.
I always thought Adams had such an awesome auditorium, awesome stadium. I don't know what do you call it. Basketball stadium
arena.
Southport down here has a huge, I think it might be the biggest in the state. It's huge. Newcastle. Is it New Albany or Newcastle?
Yeah.
You've got, so everybody's got their favorite. I'm partial to John Adams High School. I think we've got a great one.
Well,
it was legit.
Sectional is at Mishawaka up here for the 4A, and I believe it's the oldest gym in the whole state.
The Mishawaka Stadium?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Cave.
The Cave. Let's get an update from the wrestling state championship. Just happened last weekend.
Yeah.
And
Matt.
Yep, they settled it on the mat. Brownsburg took the state title as the team. I'm just going to give you those scores. It's 124.5 to 121.5. If you look at, or if I read off all these schools, you're going to see that Center Grove, who came in second, they actually have maybe more people who won the individual title. So I wonder where the weight class breakdown helps or not. I don't know. I don't know the scoring system. I'm sorry. I just know that Brownsburg won, Center Grove came in second, but
third place. So each weight class you get points for how they finish state.
Yeah, I just think
so
if you have
first place, yeah,
right. I'm just saying if you have the most first place, you should be the champion. That's just my opinion. But here we go with who did win the title. Okay, who won the state championship at 106 was Peyton Schodel from Ron Cali.
They are a big wrestling family down here in my area. The Shuttles, they win. They're a big wrestling family that he had to prove it. He had to go out and prove it for his family.
Holding it down. All right, 113, Revan Dickman out of Brownsburg. 120 was Charlie LaRocca, Center Grove. 126, Luke Rowe out of Avon. 132, Jack Hockaday out of Brownsburg.
Just a quick Just a quick note. Luke's brother came in second place at Avon as well. I'm not sure his weight class. I want to say 132 weight class came in second. So those Rue brothers are going home gold and silver medalists.
Strong showing there. 138 was Kyrell Lavelle out of Warren Central, 41-1 on the season. Well played. 144, Easton Doster, New Haven. And he was 39-0, and
Wow.
I have two people who finished undefeated here. And so I'm going to mention the runner-ups. And 144 was Czar Walker out of Mishawaka. 46-2, the Walker out of Mishawaka. I mean, you go up against a kid who goes undefeated. Your timing is just not great. Sorry. At 150, Wyatt Krezja, Center Grove. 157 was Mitchell Betts out of Western. 165, Waylon Cressell out of Warren Central. 175, Chase Leach out of Garrett. And I don't know where Garrett is, but I'm sure they're proud of Chase. And at 190, Noah Waver out of Rossville, 50-0, another undefeated state champion. And just because of that, the runner-up was out of Brownsburg, Gunnar Henry, 34-5. At 215, Will Clark out of Crown Point. And at 285, the heavyweight Nate Johnson out of Center Grove ended up 27-1. And I want a special shout out to our Juliana Ocampo, who's the girl wrestler at 106. She didn't come in last. She came in sixth. She's out of New Haven. She had a great performance down there.
She was the first girl ever to make it to a state finals match. So way to go, Juliana. We saw you. We were cheering for you. Good job. That was awesome.
That's a great story. But looking at these 14 weight classes, right? You have 14 state championships, and they combined for 24 losses all year long.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that is wild.
And you add in the two runners-up that lost to undefeated guys, it's only 31 losses all year.
Yeah, there's not any losers in the bunch, that's for sure. And they're all going to go to do big things, whether they continue to wrestle in college or next year or not. They're setting the tone.
Yeah, you proved that
Absolutely.
You can put your mind to right there, getting to the state championship in wrestling.
Good job,
for sure.
Guys.
All right, so yep, there's a state champions for wrestling. So kick it back over to Jeb. What do you got for us next?
This weekend in South Bend and Fort Wayne, we're settling it on the ice. So Indiana High School Hockey State Championships take off this weekend. They do it a little different than everybody else. This is a club sport. So at the end of the season, they take each team, and assign them to a class. So there's 4 classes, 4A, 3A, 2A, and 1A, 4A being your highest. And depending on how your team performed throughout the course of the year, you play your regular season league matches. They also do 3, I think you got to play like 30 crossover games, maybe 15 crossover games versus teams from other conferences. So that way the state can see how you compare to everybody else. So it's kind of cool because one year you might be 3A, one year you might be 4A. So
yeah, I like that. And they don't do it at the beginning of the season. They do it at the end of the season. So they know exactly where you stack up. I like that.
Yep, they do.
Makes a lot of sense.
So, which is great because now you're into 8-team divisions for each class. And so you're going to have some really equal opponents. There's going to be no blowouts. You know, you're going to be seeing some really good hockey. So the 4A at the Icebox here in South Bend gets underway Friday afternoon. And there's always the team to beat is Culver A out of Culver Military Academy. They are just a dominant force in Indiana high school hockey. They're 12-1-1 versus the opponents that are in the 4A state tournament. Their lone loss is the Hamilton Southeastern, and that's who they've been up with on Friday at 3:15 at the Icebox.
Oh wow,
nice!
So that'll be a great one.
They also tied Penn, and so Penn's up there in the 4A. Fort Wayne Carroll went undefeated in the Fort Wayne League, and you got to keep an eye out on Carroll's Dalen Brown. He's legit. St. Joe, also in the 4A, they came on strong. They started the season a little slow, but they've found their stride here lately.
Man, is there somebody who was injured on St. Joe and they're coming back?
Yes,
They
Riley and senior. He's a stud. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he's a stud.
I
I'm
hope
not.
he's at full speed.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but there's definitely surgery involved since Christmas time.
Wow.
And first couple games back, he got something to the head and is got a nice big gash on his chin. They were taping him up, and he was right back out there. So,
Hockey player, ready to go.
sure, man, it was the Tirada's going to be a force to reckon with. 3A, the 3A has a nice mix of teams. There's three of them from the Michiana High School Hockey League: Riley, Adams, and St. Joe. Plays in the Indiana Hockey State Tournament. That's a long story. But Riley, they finished runner up in the Michiana High School League. They were the 6th seed in the Michiana High School Hockey League. Went all the way. They beat St. Joe, and ended up losing to the Southwest Michigan Blades in the championship. They got a brother duo, the Traxler kids. Aiden Traxler was goalie of the year for the Michiana High School Hockey League. Riley is coached by Brian Klein, former Adams Eagle, and
All right. Doesn't his son play for him?
Yeah, Nolan's a freshman. Nolan was right up there. So they give your stats for crossover games, and Nolan was one of the top scoring point guys for crossover games, and Riley was like 13-1-1 in crossover games. So they really stood out.
Let's go B Klein.
Yeah. Well, no, you can't cheer for them because
not yet.
Not yet. No.
Adams is led by Tommy Sullivan, senior out of South Central. He's a baseball player. David Hornback. If both those guys are on, you can make a run. They play on the same line together. Adams has to get through Carmel in the first round, and Carmel's hot. They beat Zionsville, who's in the 4.
Doesn't Adams have some other freshman stud?
Yeah, they got my son Owen.
Okay.
I heard that kid Owen McNally.
Yep. So he's holding on. He's trying his best.
You don't have to hold back on that one. He's awesome, man. I've seen him get all kinds of ice time down here in Indy.
Yep. So we're
showing up.
Super excited to see what he can do. Also, you can never forget about Leo, man. I think they're the number 1 seed. Lakeshore St. Joe's the number 2 seed. So now you got to talk 2A. The Fort Wayne Vipers are 9-3-1 in crossovers. They're the number 1 seed, and Columbus is the 2 seed. They look like the premier teams in that division, so going to be tough. Now, the 2As played at the Sports One facility down in Fort Wayne. They have an awesome setup down there with 4 rinks, and it's just constant hockey in that building. And lastly, the 1A. The 1A is kind of unique. So they have JV hockey in Indiana, and the 1A is the final 4. There's 28 varsity teams. So those 4 play in the 1A, the bottom 4 teams. Then out of the prep division, they all play a little play-in, and the top 4 teams from that play-in make it to the 1A state championship. So these are JV teams: Penn JV, St. Joe JV, Lakeshore JV, and I believe the other one is Hamilton Southeastern, maybe. No, Northside. So those guys get a chance to play in the 1A state championship, and
that's pretty hype.
Penn is legit. I mean, their JV team has beat some varsity teams all throughout the year. I coached a lot of those kids, really good kids, and I'm kind of excited to see what they do. St. Joe JV's right there with Penn. I think they play 2 or 3 times in some overtime matchups. And then my heart's with Valpo. They're out of the Michiana High School Hockey League. They've had a tough go the last couple years. But when they play light competition, they're just as good as anybody. So that's the beauty of the high school hockey seeding, where every year you're a different level. So that all starts this weekend. They'll pare it down to the final 2 teams after this weekend for each class. Then the following weekend, March 2nd, is when we're talking Indiana High School State Championship. So there'll be 4 games.
Finals.
Talk about some of the best high school basketball gyms. One of the greatest hockey rinks in America has got to be the Icebox. There's nothing like the icebox on a Friday night. And with
The icebox is hype.
Icebox is rocking on a Friday night.
the rink one at the icebox a couple Saturdays, and it'll be awesome.
Awesome. Can't wait. Can't
Yep.
wait to watch these Eagles.
We're cheering
Good luck,
for 'em.
Eagles.
Got my Irish youth hockey shirt on.
Nice.
A lot of legends out of there. Yeah, Notre Dame has a couple playing for him right now.
Man, that's a strong youth program.
Yeah.
To come all the way up through the ranks.
Yeah. So hey, let's go back to talk a little bit more about Clay High School in their last game. They won the 1994 sectional with state championship with Jerron Cornell and Coach Bates and those guys. I mean, anybody have a story from that event?
Man, I don't know if you're asking anybody in particular, but I know that some of the guys that they said were there were Jerron and his brother, and Lee was there. I know that we played. John Adams played Clay in this year, and they beat us. Okay, it was handedly. I'm at a loss, but I will pull out some memorabilia out of the golden folder here. Look, we mentioned Tom DeBates. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this here, but this is a 1989 certificate for a summer sports camp that was held in the Clay High School gym. Hey, summer sports, you're 12 years old, you go to basketball camp. It's not supposed to be develop you into a Division I NBA player. You're supposed to go have fun. You're supposed to get organized. You're supposed to learn a thing or two. And at the end of the week, you have a pizza party. And while you're there, you watch Tom DeBates coach. And then when you're 6 years later, you see him win a state championship. It's like a dream come true for a little kid to have these camps. And I hope that people don't take them all too seriously too soon. That would be my number one story there. I don't know, Jeb, what do you got?
Oh man, I remember driving down after they won the morning session to go down to Indianapolis for the championship. First time I ever really drove like out of South Bend. Had a whole and we got down there. Tickets. We were in the upper deck of the Hoosier Dome.
Yeah, the Hoosier Dome for you who don't know about it. It's not there anymore.
I was in the Hoosier Dome when Damon Bailey played. World's largest crowd to ever see a high school basketball game. Was the first state championship ever played there. 64,000 people. But the Clay one, I mean, Clay Valpo, there's probably, I don't know, 40,000 people, I would assume. I mean, it was packed. And Clay hit a jumper to send it to overtime.
Chad Hudnall for 3.
Yep. And then Jerron Cornell had the shot at the end. And so really cool to see South Bend bring home that title. It was a long time coming. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit more and excited to see how they.
So do you remember the I don't know what size they are, 5 foot by 6 foot metal signs that used to be up around South Bend for the state championship? There was the 1995 St. Joe Indians football one, which I saw on someone else's timeline that is in someone's garage. And I'm pretty sure I know where
that as well.
I know where the 1994 Clay High School sign is at, but I'm wondering if it's still going to be there when I go to town here in a couple of days. I'm going to keep my eye out, see if I see it. No clues as to where it is.
Why did they take those down? I wonder. Like after a certain period of time, or somebody took it down.
I think a little bit of both.
I don't think.
I feel like if I won that, I won it up. I won it up on the side of the road. I don't want it in my garage.
Have it right here.
I might want it, maybe when I turn like 60 or something. But for now, I want it on display.
Oh, it's on display.
Difference of opinion, I guess.
That was a great show. Girls basketball state championships coming up. Boys basketball. Oscar Robinson's getting a new statue. I mean,
it's a busy time for basketball in Indiana. The greatest play.
But I mean, the last thing I'd say about Indiana and basketball is that all of us, you can call us homers for saying it's the best basketball. I mean, we're not blind and we're not we don't say that people in New York and Chicago don't have great ballers. It's just if you go and grab 5 kids that you don't even know, they're going to know how to play basketball, and at least 2 of them might be pretty darn good shooters. So,
did you have a trivia question for us?
Oh, I do have a trivia question.
Ooh.
Okay, are you ready? Indiana high school basketball. Who has the most ever consecutive Indiana sectional championships, and how many was it? I told you earlier that Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian's up to 6, but what is the record?
I want to say 8.
Sectional championships. I'm going to say
Sectional
20.
championship?
Yes, to the sectional championships.
I was thinking I guess I was thinking 6.
So if you
20,
add
yeah,
Jeb's and Liz's 20 and 8, you're still not there because the most ever is 29 in a row by Lafayette Jefferson. That's
Wow.
from 1944 to 1972. I bet there's not a sign up for that. And then I'm going to loop this back to your question, Liz, that you stumped me on. Kokomo opens against Harrison, and then they play the team that has the bye, which is Lafayette Jefferson. So they... Yeah.
Harrison is also at a Lafayette. So, wow, that's some good trivia. They might just get another one. They might
got that bye.
So wait, have they won? They won all those in a row? How many in a row?
Consecutive in a row, 29.
29 in a row.
This was a while back.
Now, have they won any since?
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah. Or you can do your own homework and take a look and see who's won
that's why
sectionals.
I'm watching the show.
They've actually won 69 different times. The first was in 1915-1916 season. The most recent was in 21, and so several times after that run that was back in the day in the 60s, they won in the 70s, they've won in the 80s, 90s, they've won a lot of those sectional championships.
Wow, pure domination from Lafayette Jeff over there. Wow. I've always wondered if Lafayette Jeff and Harrison, those are 2 pretty good big size schools. Seemed like for a while there they were talking about maybe combining them, but I always thought those were pretty big schools. So, and what is going on with the hat?
I had to switch up to the B hat. A little shout out to my my boys at Brebeuf Braves, Brebeuf Jesuit. Nobody mentioned them when we talked about 3A. They're 14-5. They're number 3 in the state right now. They've got two cats on the team that played JV football when I was there. Evan Hayward. This guy I never seen someone talk about basketball more on a football field than Evan Hayward. He knew what he was doing when he was a freshman. He knew this time was coming. He's averaging 20.7 and 6.5 boards. And his buddy and my guy JB Javon Brooks is averaging 13 points per game. So I'm looking to see what they do here in the sectionals as well.
Wow, that's a great shout out. And I'm just going to real quick check out Evan. Let's see. He is going to Butler. Did you know that?
Bulldogs.
Evan Haywood. He committed to the Bulldogs. Way to go, Evan.
Found his boy JJ. Went there for football.
So way to go, Evan, and we wish you luck in the sectionals. He knew he loved his basketball. Okay.
Evo Francis just hit another bucket.
Man.
With that,
all right.
I think that's a wrap.
Keep dominating.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. Peace out, y'all.
Watching this episode of Settle on the Field. To learn more, visit our website at settleonthefield.com. Please follow Settle on the Field at Instagram, X, Facebook, and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube.